not hating it. Crazy. It wasn't really like that romantic, but I think that is a good thing. I'm just like kind of bored. I am not having a good time. I don't want to be here. There was literally no point in this book where I knew like where things were gonna go. Hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel and welcome to another reading vlog where I'm gonna be reading romance books. So I want to start this by saying that I am not a romance reader. I very rarely read romance, and when I do, like out of my own free will, is like fantasy romance, because I'm definitely a fantasy reader. And so I never read like contemporary romance. Like a book that is just romance is not something that I ever pick up. But around Valentine's Day I usually read 4 romances, and in the last couple of years I've been letting my best friend choose the books for me to read because she is a romance reader. So I want to read the books that she recommends me. And sometimes, like last year, it's not really that she recommends me. Like one of them she chose really for me to hate because she also hated it. But still, I want to read the books that she gives me. And so I asked her to give me 4 books to read, and she gave me 2 fantasies and 2 contemporaries. And so, she's always excited to see me suffer with romance and to, pick the books for me. So this video is just really for her. And so, yeah, I'm gonna be doing like fantasy, contemporary fantasy is the order that I will be reading the books. And yeah, let's just get into the video. Hello, so I am almost halfway through our first book, which is Love Bites Harder, which is the 3rd book in the Mated to the King series, which is fantasy romance. I never know the difference. And I'm pretty sure that in the series, like this is the 3rd book, and I did not read the first 2, but my friend told me that it was fine because it was like in a different world, and it definitely is. But I think we're also always following like sirens, like they're all sisters, and so we are following like one of the sisters in this book, and we've heard mentions to the other 2 sisters. So like the female characters are always sirens, but their love interests are like other beings. And in this one in particular, we are following Clementine, and she is like taken to the Fae world, and the only way to leave the Fae world is if you're mated to a Fae. And so she obviously wants to go back home, and so she needs to mate with a Fae. And she meets the king of the Fae, who's called Kai, and he tells her that he's gonna like help her find a mate. And so like she meets a bunch of guys, but obviously like the person that she has a lot of chemistry with is the king himself. And there is like something happening in the Fae world. Like there are a bunch of eclipses happening that really affect the Fae. They make them go like kind of crazy, kind of feral. So Kai is, trying to figure out a way to fix that, to like help his people, and Clementine is like also starting to help with that. And like that's what's happening. And it's like pretty short, so I can say much about it, but I'm not hating it. Crazy. I'm actually having fun. This is like, it's like ridiculous in a funny way. And yeah, I'm having fun. I'm not hating it. I'm also like not loving it, but I'm not hating it, which I see as an absolute win. I'm having a good time. And yeah, I'm not even halfway through yet. I'm at like 49%, 47, something along those lines. And so I still haven't, read that much, especially because it is quite short. But yeah, I'm having fun. So I'm very happy with this development. And I'm glad that I am somewhat enjoying our first book. And so I'm going to finish it and I will be back. Okay, so I have finished Love Bites Harder, and honestly, my thoughts are like still the same. I didn't love it, but I definitely didn't hate it either. Like, it was definitely fun and funny. And I mean, was I like that invested in anything that was happening? Not really. Did I particularly care about the romance? Not at all. Was like the fantasy plot also like that fantastic? Also not, but it was fun for sure. And there were like a lot of smut scenes, like a lot of them, and they were definitely something. But once again, they were fun and they were funny, and it wasn't like, I didn't feel, at least like for me personally, it wasn't really like that romantic. But I think that is a good thing for me. I think if it was like very actually like romantic, like feelings wise, I wouldn't have liked it. I would have not had as much fun, I would say. So, it was fun. It was definitely a good start. Yeah, I had a good time. I think I'm gonna give it like 3 stars because, like I said, it's not like I, loved it. But I also didn't hate my time reading it, like, at all. It was kind of like sometimes really ridiculous, but like in a funny way. So, yeah, I had fun, which is honestly all that matters to me. And yeah, I think I'm gonna give it 3 stars, which for a romance book, I take that as a win. And yes, it always does help that there is a fantasy plot as well. Even though, like I said, it's not like it was, the most interesting fantasy plot ever. And I wasn't like that invested in it, but there was still like something other than like the relationship for me to be focusing on. So that is positive. And yeah, overall, it was a fun time. And yeah, 3 stars, which is, like I said, very positive. And yeah, that's the first book. Shockingly, like a mild success. And our next book is gonna be contemporary, which is, not my favorite, but, and also like the cover, it has like a person on the cover. I hate that. I absolutely hate that. But yeah, that is contemporary, and I'm sure it's longer than this one because I am pretty sure this was like the shortest one of all. And I think the last one that I'm gonna read is gonna be the longest. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that this one is or was the shortest. So yeah, I'm gonna read half of that book and I will be back. I am almost halfway through our second book, which is called Just Friends. And so in this book, we are following Rue. I think his actual name is Royce. I think, but like his nickname is Rue, and Tanner. And I think it was like 5 years before the main story. And I think they were probably like 18. I think they had like just graduated high school. So Rue had to go back to Australia because he like needed to do a surgery and he had to move to Australia. And so he left his best friend Tanner like in the US, wherever they lived. And now 5 years later, they like Tanner is looking for a roommate because he has like an empty bedroom. And Rue tells him that he's actually gonna be going there to like where they live during high school for some time, so he's gonna stay there. And Rue always had a crush on Tanner when they were in school, but like Tanner was supposedly straight and he never saw Rue as more than his best friend. But now that they're spending time together and now that Tanner knows that Rue is gay, he's maybe starting to feel like maybe they're not just friends. And yeah, that's what's going on. And like there's nothing that I dislike about it, but I'm just like kind of bored because there's just the romance, and that is like my issue with contemporary romances because when there's a fantasy, I have the fantasy plot to keep me interested. And like in contemporary, most times there is also like a plot of the characters maybe like trying to figure their lives out, or just, some other random plot, but it's not, as big as a fantasy plot. So there's nothing that I'm disliking. I like the characters, they're fine, their interactions are fun, but I'm bored. So like there's nothing bad for me to say about the book. There's just nothing to really complain, but there's also nothing that I'm like, loving. So yeah, that's my not exciting at all update, because at least like last year when my friend gave me a book that was really for me to hate, at least like I had things to say. I had thoughts, I had opinions. And this one, my opinion is that it's fine, it's okay, I'm just bored. And that's not a very exciting update, but I really don't want to feel the rage that I felt reading that book last year again. I don't want to go through that again. So like, for me personally, like it's better to be reading a book that is just okay. But I guess like for entertainment purposes for the video, it was better when I was hating something. But, it's fine, it's okay. And yeah, I'm gonna finish it, because also it's like not that long. So I'm gonna finish it and I will be back. Okay, so I finished Just Friends, and honestly my thoughts are like still the same as they were in the halfway update. And like I wish I had something big to say, either like good or bad, but I just feel very meh about it. So like I don't really have, any strong opinions about it, any strong thoughts, any strong reactions to give you. It was just fine. Like the characters were okay. I guess the romance was okay, even though I didn't like particularly care that much, because like I very rarely ever do. But like it was fine, it was okay. And I feel like, most of the people in the book were all very nice. And if people in the world were like most of the characters in this book, the world will be a better place. So like it was nice to read like in that regard, but like it was just okay. And I was, a little bored, because it was just the romance. Like I have nothing bad to say about it, but also there is nothing like that good to say about it either, because I didn't dislike it, but I also didn't care about it, so like it's just okay. I think I'm gonna give it like 2.5 stars, which is like right in the middle. It's like it's not good, it's not bad, it's just okay. It's just, not my thing, which is what I was expecting it to be. So, it was fine. Like I didn't hate my time reading it, but also like it didn't add anything to my life, So yeah, there's that. Like I said, probably 2.5 stars. I will give my final ratings to all the books at the end, but I think for now it feels like 2.5 stars. And actually, like I was feeling like I was gonna give it 2.5 stars, but then I went to check a book that I read, I don't think it was last year, I think it was the previous year, and I was feeling like very similarly about it, and I went to check what I rated it, and I rated it 2.5 stars. So, it just feels right. So yeah, that's that. And we're gonna go into our next book, which is called The Devil and the Deep Blue Sea, I think, which is also contemporary, which, as I said before, not the best for me, but the last one is gonna be fantasy. So I am excited about the last one, and like the last one is the one that my friend is hoping that I like, the one that she's actually like has faith in me like liking. So I am excited for that one. This third one, I don't know what the plot is at all. I didn't read the synopsis or anything, but I know it's contemporary. So there's that. But yeah, we're gonna go into that. I think that one is maybe a bit longer than this one. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe they're around the same length. I know the first one was the shortest, and then the second and third, I think maybe are around the same length. Maybe this one a little longer. I'm not entirely sure. and the last one is definitely the longest. But yeah, I'm gonna read half of this next book and I'll be back. Okay, so I have started our third book, which is The Devil and the Deep Blue Sea, which is the second book in the Grumpy Devils series, which I absolutely hate the title, but let's move on from that. And so this is contemporary, and we are following Drew and Josh, I think. And so Drew is kind of like invited to go on a vacation to Hawaii with her exes. Kind of like they broke up, but they are like giving it a second chance, I guess. So like his family, like his parents and his brother. And so she goes to that vacation, and actually her ex slash whatever, he doesn't make it there like in the first days. And so it's Drew, her ex's parents, and her ex's brother, who's called Josh. And she and Josh, like when they met, they didn't really get along, but now that she's actually, spending more time with him and like getting to know him better, she is realizing that, maybe he's not as bad as she thought, and like he's thinking the same. And like we also like we get dual POV, so like we also see like his thoughts about her, and that he actually kind of really likes her. And they're getting to know each other better, they are spending time together. And then her boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, whatever he is, he actually does end up joining the trip eventually. And so you're seeing like Drew dealing with him as well, and dealing with his brother and all of that. And like I am not having a good time. I am like painfully bored. I don't care about anything. I don't care about the characters. I certainly don't care about the romance, and I am just, I'm just very, very, very bored. And the book is not like that long, but still, like I think I'm 55% in, to be like specific. 55% in, and I'm bored. It's not like I'm hating it, there's nothing that is like terrible about it. I'm just really, 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 really bored, and I don't particularly like the characters either. I mean, the like ex-boyfriend, absolutely hate him, but like Drew and Josh, like I don't hate them, but I also don't like them. So like compared to the other guy, like they are way better, but I don't care about literally anything that's happening. And that's it. I am not having fun, but like I said, it's not like that long of a book, so I will hopefully finish it soon-ish, and then I will move on to the last book, which I think, or at least I'm hoping, is the one that I like the most and that I actually enjoy. So I'm excited for that, but I obviously still need to get through this one. So I'm going to finish it, and I will be back with my thoughts. Okay, so I finished The Devil and the Deep Blue Sea, and nothing changed really. I continued to be very, 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 very bored. There was nothing that was like fun about it for me. Like, not a single thing. Like, I didn't have fun with the characters. I didn't have fun, like, with the main characters. I didn't have fun with like the side characters. I didn't have fun with the romance. I didn't have fun with the sex scenes. I didn't have fun with literally anything. So yeah, it just was not a fun time. And we, kept following these characters as they try to like overcome all the things that were pulling them apart, I guess. And as they try to figure out if they were gonna be together, if they were not gonna be together. But obviously they really loved each other. And yeah, then at the end something sort of like tragic or possibly tragic happened, and we also saw them having to deal with that. And yeah, I was just very, very, very bored. There's nothing that I can say that was terrible about it, but for me, like, there was nothing that was good about it either. So it was just not a fun book. Like, the other two were definitely like not my kind of book, but they were definitely more fun, and this one just wasn't really fun. And obviously, like, I didn't really care about the romance of it all. So it wasn't fun. It also wasn't, like, for me, like, the emotional part also, like, I didn't care. So yeah, there was just really nothing for me to enjoy about it. And I think this was the one that my friend thought I would enjoy the least. And yeah, for sure, I'm giving it 2 stars, because I don't usually give less than 2 stars unless I feel like a deep hatred towards a book. I don't give it less than 2 stars, even if there's like nothing that I really enjoyed about it. So yeah, I don't feel a deep hatred towards it. It was just really, really, really not my thing. So I am giving it 2 stars. And now we are gonna go into our last book, and the book that I definitely have the highest hopes for, the highest expectations, because this one is one that my bestie expects me to enjoy. So yeah, I'm actually excited for that one. And it's fantasy as well, so like, there will be something else happening other than the romance, which we love, and with we I mean me. And it is also the longest, but since I think I'm going to actually enjoy it, I don't mind it being long. I read a lot of long books. That is not an issue. If it was just like a very long contemporary romance, I would want to not be alive anymore at some point, which happened last year. But with fantasy romance, I think I will be okay. And so yeah, I'm gonna read half of that book, and I will be back with my thoughts. Okay, so I am just over halfway through our last romance book, which is called The Lightning Struck Heart, which is the first book in a series that I currently don't remember the name of. But this, like, I was not prepared for the start of this book. Like, I knew there was something crazy gonna happen, because from what my friend had said, like, I knew it was gonna be wild, but still I was not prepared, because we start with our main character, who's called Sam, and he is a wizard, and we start with him like captured by some villain along with his friend, who is a unicorn. And then like the villain is like monologuing his evil plan, and then a giant gets there. Then it like managed to make it out, and all of this like in the first chapter. And then we get back to Sam's more regular life. And like I said, he is a wizard, and he is the apprentice to like the king's wizard. And we see him in the castle, and with like the wizard that is teaching him. and we meet also like his parents, and we also know that Sam has a crush on a knight, and not just like any knight, the knight that is the boyfriend of the prince. And we follow Sam like during some days, and we learn more about his past as well. And then he is like out with the prince, and the prince gets taken by a dragon. And now Sam and the knight are both going to go on, you know, a quest to try to get the prince back, along with the unicorn and the giant that are friends with Sam. And obviously, like, we have the romance between Sam and the knight. And this was, like I said, crazy. This was like nothing I was expecting, like from the beginning, absolutely wild. But I am having fun. It's definitely very fun. Like, it's definitely more, you know, romance heavy than I would have liked. But I'm having fun with like the world, and I'm definitely having a lot of fun with the characters. And like, there are so many different types of characters, like so many different, even like species, beings, creatures, and we are seeing like also a lot of different areas of this world, and like the different types of people that live in each area. And I'm definitely having a lot of fun with that. I don't particularly care about the romance. Like, I don't hate it, but I also like, I just don't care. Like, I like Sam, and I also like his love interest. I don't particularly care about them, you know, together, you know, as a couple. So there's that. But I'm definitely having fun. This is definitely the book that I'm having the most fun with. So yeah, it's going well. It's going really well, and I'm very interested to see how everything is gonna go, because like, he is like, the knight is the prince's, I mean, now not just boyfriend, he's his fiance. So I'm definitely interested to see how that's gonna work out, and also definitely interested to see how they're gonna deal with the dragon that took the prince. And I'm also excited to see like more about the world and get to know more interesting characters, and to just continue to follow Sam, because I do really like Sam. And yeah, that's it. So far, so good. And I'm going to finish it, and I will be back with my final thoughts on this book and my final ratings on all the books, and just to wrap up this video. Okay, so I have finished the Lightning Struck Heart, and I definitely continue to enjoy the characters and the world. And it was still like crazy all the way through. There was literally no point in this book where I knew like where things were gonna go. Everything caught me by surprise, and there were a lot of funny moments. And yeah, like, the characters were very funny, the circumstances were very funny, and I was definitely enjoying all of that. But I just still didn't really care about the romance, and towards the end, it's focused even more on the romance, and I just like didn't really care about it. I didn't dislike it, but I just, you know, I wasn't invested in the romance. I was invested in the other plots. I was invested in the main character himself, but the romance I just didn't really care about. And so I definitely had fun. Like, in the previous book, I was just like, I don't want to be here. And in this case, I did want to be here. I wanted to be in that world. I wanted to be those characters. I just didn't care about their romance. And I feel like it's very, like, it's 3.75 is the actual rating, but I don't usually really do like quarter stars, so I had to figure out if it was more 3.5 or more 4 stars. And I think, like, if it wasn't for like the last maybe like 10 to 15% of the book that was really, really, really focused on the romance, it could have leaned towards 4 stars, but I think it's more 3.5, which is a positive rating, which is a good rating, and I definitely enjoyed my time with this book. And yeah, so that was the final book, and for the final ratings for all the books that I read, so Love Bites Harder I gave 3 stars, Just Friends I gave 2.5 stars,
The Devil in the Deep Blue Sea I gave 2 stars, and The Lightning Struck Heart I gave, like I said, 3.5 stars. So like there was no book that I hated. Like last year I really hated with a passion one of the books, and the fantasies, which were like the first and the last books, I actually enjoyed. I actually had a good time with them, so I take this as an absolute win. And like overall, it was positive. Like it was definitely a positive rating, like the average at the end. And I mean, does this mean that I want to read more romance? Not really, because the romance wasn't what I enjoyed in any of the books. I like the ones that I enjoyed more were like the fantasies where there were like other things to care about, you know, like the magic and the creatures and all the fantasy setting is what I was enjoying. And especially like in the last book, the characters in the first book I didn't particularly care about the characters, but in the last book I really liked our main character and also like his group of friends. I liked them, they were very funny, and that's what I was invested in, not the romance really in any of them. So no, this did not really make me want to read more romance, which I didn't think it would. That was never really the goal here. But I overall had fun. I had a good time. I had a good time also talking to my friend about the books, and I hope she has a good time enjoying this and enjoying my suffering in some of the books, but also enjoying my enjoyment in some of the other books. So yeah, that is everything for this video. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you have enjoyed it, and if you did, give it a like and subscribe, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!